Hey guys, and welcome back to another Deepwoken video. So last video, if you guys have watched it, I made a video on how to make your Deepwoken build, basically explaining how it worked, how shrining worked, the basics, and you can watch the video if you haven't already. It is kind of long, but it does explain things as simply as possible. And so this video I'm basically going to be explaining a simple guide to Deepwoken attunements and mantras. Before I do get into the video though, make sure to join my Discord server. It is a Deepwoken based server. You can ask me questions if you need help, perhaps I might be able to help you. And a lot of other people can also help you and stuff like that. So join if you want a Deepwoken community. And I'm just going to get into the video. So what is an attunement? An attunement is basically a magic in Deepwoken that you can select and you can progress it towards your slot and building a slot. And it enables you to have these kind of mantras. For example, this is Flame Charm. It enables you to have flame mantras, which it varies, they're all different, things like that. Pretty fun to have. So the 7 attunements in Deepwoken are Gale Breathe, Flame Charm, Iron Sing, Shadowcast, Frost Draw, Thunder Call, and Attunementless. So all of these mantras, except for Iron Sing and Shadowcast, you can get at spawn. If it doesn't show up, just randomize, load in, and you will get each one, and then just wipe, and you would get all of them. So Attunementless might sound a bit odd, but it basically is just mantras that you can have, but it's not any type of magic. It's really just based around all of your stats here and your weapon stat. And there's also 2 attunements that you need to unlock. The first one is Shadowcast. You need to get 5 Umbral Obsidians that can be gained from mobs like Sharkos, and then you need to go to the Lost Cell tool and find this NPC in a secret spot. And upon talking to him, he will give you the potion, and as soon as you drink it, you have unlocked Shadowcast permanently on all your slots. The second one is Iron Sing. So Iron Sing is a bit harder to get. You need to get 6 ores, which are Iron, Gold, Aerosol, Erythin, which can be all gained from Erysia lower and upper, and Astralian and Umbrite, which is Astralian is from Hive and from the devs, and Umbrite is from like Crypt of Unbroken NPCs and the devs. So upon getting 6 of these, you want to go to Miner's Landing. It's not too far, but across a bridge, you'll find that this tower with like some kind of wooden planks near it. You want to parkour down it and go inside the tower, and the trainer will be inside and he will give you the potion to drink, and you will permanently unlock Iron Sing. If you guys do find this a bit difficult to find, like the Shadowcast or the Iron Sing at any point, I would say watch a YouTube video. There are lots of them. They're not outdated, they're pretty much all the same locations, all the same stuff, so there's not really much point in me showing it. But if you guys want like a more detailed guide, I might just drop it if you really need help. Now we're going to talk about the different paths an attunement can have. So, for example, Flame Charm, as you can see, if you didn't already see, my Flame Charm is blue, and this is because I chose a path called Azure Flames over here. Many of your flames burn blue, signifying their increased intensity. What Azure Flames does is do more flame damage, and it also basically enables you to use the flames in the depths, because the depths is obviously made of water, which means your flame wouldn't originally work, so you can use campfires in the depths and stuff like that, which is very cool. There's also this path called Eruption Lava Serpent, which basically, instead of burning, so as soon as someone gets hurt by your flame charm, instead of burning, they will basically be rocked, ragdolled, and this can actually be very OP, but does make you unable to set people on fire, which is a path to take. I'm just gonna speed through the other ones. So for Gale Breathe, you have this path called Spectre and Haunted. So what Gale Breathe originally does is suffocate your opponent. So what Suffocate does is prevent the opponent from using mantras. The opponent will also have a resonance-like effect circling their neck when applied. So it would have like this weird effect on that neck, which will signify their inability to use a mantra while in this state. So what Spectre and Haunted Path does is basically, instead of doing that, it gives you a speed boost, and the more you hit your opponent and the more you swing, the faster your swing speed can be. And you also can get the spot, which can make you get a speed boost when you press it, but it does run out over time, so you have to build it up by either doing mantras or doing M1, something like that, or moving or dodging. It was one of those, but I'm not too sure, but it could be all of them. Okay, now for Iron Sing. Iron Sing basically, originally what it does is steal your opponent's armor. That's what Iron Sing is all about. But using Scrap Singer basically makes you be able to have extended talents. So what Scrap Singer does is basically it can forge a metal blade behind you for every 2 rods you consume, which is like some cool Gilgamesh type stuff, but you do need to get the talent with it. It does come with Scrap Singer. And there's also another path with that if you choose it, which is called Jailer. Jailer basically, instead of, with Iron Sing, usually, I didn't say this, but usually with Iron Sync, when you like attack people and they have rods in them, if you press a certain keybind, which is default X, you basically pull the opponent towards you. But if you use Jailer and they have enough rods on them, while pressing X, they will basically be gelled in place for a bit, which will enable you to use any kind of, maybe an Eclipse kick that does high damage, a good mantra, a critical, literally anything you want it to be, which is honestly a very good talent. And Iron Sync can be very overpowered with this. Yeah, but I would definitely get Iron Sync. It's a pretty fun attunement, considered brain dead somewhat, but it is very fun. Now for Frost Rule, it grants to your user the ability to bring forth Frost and the Freezing Cold. Give them access to abilities which focus on aerial, denial, and debuffs. Frost Rule is slightly slower compared to other attunements, but still offers offensive options that are relative, quick, and cunning. So Frost Rule can freeze a person somewhat, and it can give them these kind of debuffs, and it's pretty good overall, honestly. So now if you choose the crystallization path for Frostro, it instead of making your opponents slower, your ice mantras no longer slow them, but they create ice crystals which with talents can explode and do damage or other stuff. Okay, so now for Thundercall, it is a lightning based achievement. So as it might, be obvious, this achievement basically stuns your opponents, but you can also choose this path called Surge. What Surge does is kind of similar to Crystallization. You build basically, instead of stunning your opponents, you now basically build stacks of electricity up on them. And at maximum statics of Surge, your opponents will overload, sending arcs of lightning in every direction. Basically just how the Surge path works, but it is very similar to Crystallization. Okay, now for Shadowcast. What Shadowcast does in general is it has really good talents that can make your opponent slightly blind. It makes their vision very bad. It can also slow your opponent and it steals the ether. Very solid attunement, does a lot of things at once. It doesn't have any crazy paths on its own, but it can be combined with Flame Charm to make this path called Twisted Puppets. So what this does is it makes your flames black. Your shadows will still be black. Your flames will just be turned black, and it will now spawn puppets that basically head to your opponent as you're fighting, which will explode and do even more damage. It's a very good path, but you gotta know what you're doing still. But I would definitely recommend trying it out if you're interested and if you like flame and shadow together. Okay, now last for Attunement. So Attunement, as I said earlier, basically scales on all your attributes here, on depending how much you have, stuff like that. And it also scales on your weapon. If you have Attunement, you won't have this kind of tab, which I have Flame Charm. You won't have this. And yeah, Attunement doesn't have anything crazy, but it just gives you mantras that don't use magic, and they're still very good. Don't get me wrong. It only really just depends if you're down to not be a mage build spammer really. And yeah, these stats do obviously rely on proficiency. If you're using any other stuff, I would mostly go Songchan, but Attunement is always going to be proficiency. Just a side note to keep in mind. Okay, so now we're going to move on to what is a mantra. As we've just gone through, attunements all have different distinctive abilities and perks. So, mantras, as you can see, my hotbars I showed earlier, are all of this. Even this and this are mantras, but don't worry about that for now. They're not flame charm mantras. But, so basically, as you can see, if you didn't notice, all of my mantras, some of them have stars, some of them have 1, 2, 3 stars, some of them have no stars. So what this is basically, I'm just gonna go to Mystic to show you guys. So every time you make a build and you obviously increase your flame charm, you always want to talk to Mystic so that they can get you right. So if you talk to Mystic and say what mantras refine me, you can, and if you go to fire, right, you can then choose what you want. So I'm on the 2-star mantra, this is why it's not shown for me. But you can select initiate level, which is like fire blade, flame potion, and yeah. And you can also choose Adept's level fire mantras, which is Fireforge in this instance. And you can also choose a 3-star fire mantra, which is Ash Slam, and 2-star would be, Rising Flame, Flame Assault, you guys get it. And you might be thinking, how do I get mantras with more stars? This is gained by upgrading your Flame Charm, as I said earlier. So, if you get to 20 Flame Charm, that's how you unlock 1-star mantras. And at 30 Flame Charm, you can unlock 2-star mantras, like this. And at 50 Flame Charm, you can finally unlock Ash Stamps, you know, 3-star mantras. I'll show you all something else just to know. Mantras also have these different sections. There's combat mantras, there's mobility mantras, there's support mantra, and there's wildcard mantras. So, this basically just enables you and shows you how much you can have, right? So you can't have too much of one. So for example, you can't just have all wild cards, you know, it has to, this basically is how you enable a build to be balanced. So all of these are combat, you know, you'll mostly have combats because that's like the most balanced ones. Wild card are probably the ones that do more damage or have a certain perk, I guess you could say. And support is what I have, you can see right now, a wisp. This gives me health over time and I think ether, but I'm not too sure. But it's always good to have wisps. They always have a certain support, which is definitely something you should be getting. And all attunements have a wisp. This is just how the flame Azure one looks like. So now let's talk about deep gems. If you guys didn't already see it, yes, my mantras have these things called deep gems. So, some of them don't because I was upgrading my mantras, which, if you use this crafting table, you can upgrade mantras. I'll talk about that in a bit. But deep gems basically all have a different purpose. So, for the bloodless gem, if you use this on people, you basically gain a bit of heal. So for Insignia Gem, the next mantra you cast within a short time frame will have a 50% wind up reduction. Basically means that if I use Flame Blade now on someone, the next time I use it, the wind up that you just saw will be 50% quicker. It's good to have on guard breaks like Fire Blade when it's level 5. It's level 4 still, but I gotta uncap, which you have to uncap once you get to 75. Just to show you guys really quick so I don't miss this. My Flame Charm, my Heat Heart Gem to train Flame Charms here, right? You have different ones in this thing, obviously. I can't do it because I need to defeat a boss, which can be Ferryman, Duke, Etheron, Chaser, literally any boss like that. And you'll be able to get to 75 to 100. But in my build, I'm going to just go to 80 Flame Charm to get level 5 mantras. So, there's also some other gems like Bless Gem. Bless Gem just basically gives all of your mantras a 50% less cooldown if you just want to activate a mantra quicker. Blue Gem makes your mantra use less ether, which is good to use on mantras like Shadow Gun if you upgrade it a lot, because Shadow Gun needs to be upgraded somewhat to be better. But Shadow Gun is a very good mantra, but it's good to put Blue Gem on it so that it doesn't use too much ether. You also have a Wind Gem, which is good on mobility mantras like Flame Assault. So I'm just going to put a Wind Gem. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell too much, but on your mobility, you just want to put a Wind Gem, which is just a very good idea to do. And what Wind Gems do is hitting an enemy with the mantra will increase your speed for 8 seconds, equivalent to the speed buff given after sliding down a slope. So you can imagine you doing that mantra as like doing it down a slope and stuff like that, which, as I said, is basically just more of a speed boost. That's what Wind Gem does, which is why it's a good idea to put it on mantras that, you know, make you travel and stuff like that. So the last one is a gem called a Wayward. I don't have it on me, but what a Wayward does is basically when you hit someone with it, it will have this little spiral effect on them and it will teleport you to them. So you could put this on something like a ranged mantra. So say I have a Wayward on this, and my opponent was there. I would then teleport to them and be able to carry on a combo. It can be used as a combo extender, it can be used for a lot of things. Or if you're bugged on a wall and you use it, you can just get out of a wall and teleport to your opponent. Is very useful for a lot of things. Okay, that's basically all the deep gems you need to understand. Deep gems are basically mostly gained from bosses, Ferryman, Chaser, just bosses you can grind in general. You can also get these from certain events, certain stuff. They're not too hard to get, to be honest. They're very easy to get your hands on them. But yeah, that should be all the explanation about deep gems. So now let's talk about mantra modifications. So this is a bit complex. I won't talk too much in detail, but you're gonna research it for yourself if you want to understand. So basically, here is how you can improve your mantras. So let me show you all a mantra I have that is not originally this good. Normally this mantra would cover around this much surface area, but because as you can see if I hover over the mantra, I used a spring spark, as you can see spring, I used 3 stratostones and 3 times cloudstones. So this is the final result of my mantra. It covers like basically the whole room of an area, which is very good for PvP to set your opponents on fire or whatever you want to do. I also did the same on my Rising, as you can see there's modifications. And I also did Flame Assault. I added Perfect Lens and Crystal Lens, which is good for fast mantras or traveling mantras because it gives them more range, as you can see. Originally, this mantra, at when you get it, you'll probably be doing like this much range or something. But with the modifications I put, it can go very, very far, which is very recommended. So I would search Deepwoken Wiki to understand what modifications do. But to modify a mantra, let's see, for example, Flare Volley, a mantra I don't use, you need to put this here, and then you can select, like, you can select anything you want to put on it. You can put, let's say, Stratostones to make it bigger. You can put Cloudstones to also make it bigger, which I don't have. You can put Drift Shards and stuff to make it bigger. You can put Sparks, so Sparks will go in these things, right? To make it have a certain purpose. Sparks basically make your mantras act different. So Flame Repulsion originally is just a mantra that makes you kind of explode, burst into flames a bit to your opponents that are nearby. But because I used a Spring Spark, it now is kind of like a Gojo move. So it's kind of like a Reversal Red. So when I do it, it doesn't go on me anymore. It's more of a spark that I throw out and then after it just explodes, you know? It works very differently, basically. That's what sparks do. They make your mantras behave differently. There are blast sparks, for example, which can be used in Shadow Gun to have more than one bullet, which, if I'm going to be honest, just a pro tip, uh, Shadow Gun is better without a blast spark because it guard breaks and it's just a lot better because it's easy parryable, the blast spark version. But yeah, I'm just going to walk away because I do not want to craft this mantra. It has no use to, so if you walk away from crafting table, craft failed, you get all your stuff back. So that's if you ever mess up. Don't worry about that, just walk away. And yeah, Tornado mantras, I'll give you an example. So I have Tornado mantra on my Fireforge. Originally Fireforge just throws 3. But with Tornado, it just has this effect and throws a lot more. It throws more and it has like this cool effect. I'm not sure what it does, but y'all can see for yourselves. So I'll just show a bit of screenshots of different types of, I guess you could say, sparks and a bit of cloudstones that I would recommend using. Just a bit of screenshots from the wiki. But this is a bit hard to remember. You won't master this at the first times of playing Deepwoken, which is fine. You just gotta take time to really study through mantras, modifications on them, and stuff like that. So now that we've talked about mantra modifications, deep gems, and leveling your mantras, which to level your mantras, by the way, you need to find an NPC, or you can buy a songwriter for your guild base if you have enough notes, and he will show all of your mantras. So I've yet to make them level 5 because I need 85, as you can see. But to get to level 1, it was like, as I said, this one's like 10, 20, 30, 50, and then, 80. So that's how you do your mantras, basically. That's how you level them up. But originally, there are different spots for each trainer. So for example, the Gale Brief trainer for mantras, if you don't have this NPC, he's at Isle of Vigils in like this kind of section. Just gotta look around to find him. And the same with Flame Charm, he is located in Songseeker Wilds, somewhere a bit high. And for Frostdraw, he's located in Etrus and things like that. Just search it up if you don't know where they are. They're very easy to find, to be honest. And yeah, that's all about leveling your mantras. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk quickly about boss mantras. There's only one boss mantra in the game at the moment, but I just thought I'd mention it so you guys know this mantra. It's called Pillars of Arisia. It's gained from the bot defeating Duke Arisia. It's a 3-star mantra. You gotta talk to Mystic, ask for a 3-star mantra, and just hope you get it, I guess, because sometimes when you play this game and the cards you get, it's all about luck, which kinda sucks. Cool crit, by the way. Definitely look into that, see if you maybe want to get it. It's pretty good. You can't parry or block it, you can only dodge it. The thing is really just if you guys like the mantra, I guess. Now let's talk about hybrid mantras. So hybrid mantras are basically mantras you can get that work with 2 attunements, hence the name and the word hybrid. They will have different requirements, and I'm actually going to show you guys a build I have with hybrid mantras just to give you guys an idea. Okay, so this is another build I have. This is my track star. If you guys don't know what track stars are, it's just a build that's, as you can see my agility, it's just a build based on agility. It's supposed to be able to scale high stuff. I must use this build to save people from ganks. You can do a lot of stuff, you gotta like pick the correct mantras. It's mostly built on fast mantras, as you can see. Wind passage, you've got dash, you know, things like that. And yeah, so an example of a hybrid mantra is tempo splits. So if you look at the colors of the mantra, Gale is green, Thunder is yellow, right? But tempo splits is kind of a mix if you look carefully. And although I kind of forgot the requirements, you can search it up. Tempo splits, to get it, you need to ask Mystic for I seek hybrid mantras. And then Mystic will basically give you, and upon asking, you'll most likely definitely get it, because in each kind of two attunements, there's going to be one hybrid mantra, unless you make like, I don't know, a tri-attunement, a triple attunement build, which is complicated, don't worry about that. But double attunement builds are very doable, they're very possible. Tempo Splits just looks like that. You know, Power of Gale and Lightning, very cool. There's other hybrid mantras with like Shadow and Ice, Flame and Lightning, and things like that. You guys can search up for yourselves if you're interested. But that's just an idea I wanted to show you about the hybrid mantras. So back to this slot. So now we're going to talk about oath mantras. It's going to be a quick one, but as I talked about earlier, oath mantras, you cannot level them up. This is why mine's a level 1. And even though they're not bad mantras, they're not weak at all. You cannot modify them, you cannot upgrade them, because they're all set to do a different kind of purpose. This oath has 3 mantras, also Ascension. I just don't like this mantra, that's why I don't use it. But it has Sinister Halo. Also, this oath is very cool. Since I have the moth race, I get moth wings instead of angel wings that you would usually get, which honestly it's just very cool. And we also have Celestial Assault. They're pretty good if you know how to use them. Stock Kindreds are pretty good overall, and I just really like this talent for this oath. Yeah, this is a talent, not a mantra, just to let you guys know. It is a talent. Death from above. Upon casting air dash, reveal your wings and strike your enemy. Very cool. Okay. So that basically covers oath mantras. It's the same for every oath mantra. You can't upgrade them, you can't modify them. That's just how they work, for now at least. Back to attunements in general. There are some Deepwoken weapons that require attunement as well as weapon stats. So an example of this is the Rose in Hellflame, a weapon that's kind of new and low key. So this weapon, for example, requires 40 medium and 75 flame charm to equip. So this weapon, as you can see, based on fire. Since I'm Zero Flames, the flames are also blue, which is very cool. So the normal crit is just like this. As you can see, it's obviously a fire-based weapon. You can just hold it. This does pretty good posture in PvP. Definitely recommend it. It also has an air dash, which very cool as well. And yeah, as you guys saw, my other slot, the Gale and Thunder slot, I have curved blades of the winds, which require 25 medium and like 75 Gale as well. And there's also weapons for Shadow. There's a weapon for Iron Sink. There's weapons for pretty much every attunement. Attunement list doesn't count because it's just weapon. It's not any kind of element, obviously. And yeah, in this game, more than any other attunements, Flame Charm gives like the best treatment of any weapon. It's got the easiest Pie Keeper. You've got the Pleaxes Inferno. You've got the Rose and Hellflame. I mean, Flame Charm just gets everything. I can't lie. So now let's talk about something I was just talking about earlier, but with a bit more detail. For people who might not know how to differentiate, if you're attunement list as your mantras and weapon, again I said this, do not pick Songchan if you're attunement list. If you're going Silent Heart Oath, do not pick it like Songchan at all. You will basically just be wasting your build away. Go 6 vitality, 3 erudition and 3 proficiency. If you want less vitality, if you want more erudition, more proficiency or less, you can do what you want. Just don't go Songchan if your build is like that. And if you're using this build, for example, this mostly scales, as you can see on my flame charm, 40 medium but 75 flame charm, which you can assume it scales my flame charm mostly, which means it would be a good idea to basically go more flame charm and just go Songchan. Honestly, there's no point going like 2 proficiency, 1 Songchan, just straight on, give everything to Songchan. That's what I would do. This what's just better. But obviously you can make your own choice, see what you like, and that's the fun of playing Deepwoken. You can make your own choices. Okay, so that's all the yap I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully I've not missed anything. If you guys are good at Deepwoken and you watch the whole video, I do appreciate that. And if I've missed anything at all, do comment it. I will respond it. And if you guys are new to the game, you can also check the comments, maybe comment what you don't understand if you have any questions, or just look at the comments in general to see what other, people who have more experience than you on this game might tell you that I've missed out, which is completely fine. But I think I've basically covered every basics on a simple guide to debooking achievements and mantras. Also, just something really quick before I forget. It's not too important, but I mean it's kind of important. Yeah, as you can see, for example, just like Azure Flame and all that, achievements do come with certain talents, obviously. There's some requirements sometimes to get a certain path, things like that. So for hybrid stuff like, for example, Twisted Puppets, which is a Shadowcast, and the Fireblade path, you need a certain amount requirement on each attunement, alright? Just remember to always fact check with the wiki, with any trusted sources on how, to get a certain talent, a certain requirement, a certain mantra. Everything can be helped with wiki and YouTube guides, and obviously our trusty mystic for whichever mantra kind you want, really. So, so yeah, um, that's all I have to say. A pretty long video again, just like the last one, but I do appreciate if you want to watch it, and I do hope this has helped you. And I'll see you guys on the next Deepwoken video.